Not sure how good that is. Oh shoot, I forgot this game is not in English. Oh, thank God, bro. Oh my goodness, okay. You do not know how much of a relief that is. Because, yeah, I forgot this game was Russian. So, yeah. Anyway, anyway, I forgot this game was Russian. Oh, I forgot it's a beautiful novel also. You're forgetting a lot of things, man. Forgetting a lot of things. I know, man. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow or casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, a creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. Just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. It was already 12 after all. Still. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Oh shoot, wait, am I supposed to be interacting here? Something. Please give me like a highlighted text. No? Really, you're not gonna give up? Oh, there's a book. Never mind. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Claudia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from the commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Lazy anxiousness balled up inside, for because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house in the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. Oh God, don't tell me that's maize meal. It looked like a jellyfish from the Coastal Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Hey, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where all your sleeps nowadays, and saying this in a soft, smooth voice. Hmm. Tiger is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. What? If you're a good sort, you won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. Grandma, why are you so grim? Why are you so grim and evil? Come on, Grandma. And that would be it. Grandma was ca- Grandma was caring. She never fought with anyone. Never yelled, never swore. There were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashing dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for a funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it a cute funeral. Oh, she called it a cute funeral box. It's a coffin, okay? It's a coffin. It's, please do not call it a funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered, with meat-colored material on the inside. Oh, okay. I saw it with my grandma getting buried. When my grandma was getting buried, the house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass covered pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Ollie was done with the cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. Wait, I thought this was the father. Am I crazy to believe that I thought this was the father? I mean, he looks old as hell compared to this little girl, but okay. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Ollie, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost It almost looked like those typical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. Oh, there I see the fox. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blow your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a minute. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much time left. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. They are children. What? That guy looks old as hell. Now I couldn't see the fox earlier. It disappeared, went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My Gigachin when he's older. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I went to have a beard. Wait, no, I want to have a beard like this when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks are an everyday occurrence. Ooh, witty comeback, I do not like that. Olivia always covers her ears when she hears something like, what's the point in all this? Through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreadful, the, the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-D? I don't even want to finish it. What does that mean? Wait, do they mean divide? Divided? Like divorce? It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl in your window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two and still. Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys were in the basket near the photo. No, near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Dad. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. Olya. And the owl? Dad, there was no owl. Olya. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Dad, last year you had Babai in your closet. Now this owl? Olya. But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't feel any support. Dad, have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Mom, don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olya pulled her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. What? It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. Huh? You you glue together? I don't know. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Ollie had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped take her mind of all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Sometimes I also struggle to sleep. You know what? Never mind. Huh. And then Olio said she saw that giant flying monster outside the window. Wait, the owl. Oh, the owl. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of these ridiculous fears. Olio refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure of what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. It was a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisted hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside these holes. It wasn't it was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloody shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I don't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olio begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy, as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagined Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with big glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the window. The condo we used to live in, a nine-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's stroll, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Shadows lay dormant in the corners on the closet cobwebs and under the stairs, but they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old paintings of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. Floors were squeaking, rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody, and then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold snowy night, right? Hmm. Someone was still. Is that a bear? There's a bear, a bird, a fox, and I don't even know. What the hell's going on here? Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest at their back. What is that? They jumped around, bashed in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. Yeah, that looks like a fox. One looks like a fox. I don't know about the other one, but one is definitely a bird and the other one's definitely a bear. One of them also looks like they're playing a violin. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music had oh my goodness. Suddenly the music had stopped. The dancing shadows rose in place and I could swear pierced me with the eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bush of our shadow carnival and split across the field with giant leaps. Jesus! It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right and circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a turned doll, hands running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. Oh my goodness gracious. Why is that description of the grandma so dark? I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Ruin, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay Lord and Ashenay, with a spawn from Devil's Lair, to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leaves this house must. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and trolled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the thin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony! It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with the rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony! My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Oh yeah, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Oya frowned and stuck out a lower lip, a clear sign she was about to cry. Oya, it's there again, staring at me. Shoo away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down. Anton, it was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to behave, to believe me. But I would, but was I sure myself? Anton, I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Oh yeah. Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Anton, alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? It studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by glamours or chance. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of Lord and long ashen air. Oh yeah, Tony, you coming? Anton, yes, yes, just a minute. Oh Jesus! Oh, yo, that actually scared me. What the? What the? Wow, that was a good jump scare. Whoa, first cutscene. What the hell? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia in an hour in the morning. Anton, who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from my silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. Oh no, imagine it's those forest animals, right? And then the mother just pretends everything is normal. And they just waltz in and sit at the table and start eating the food. With clothes and everything. Oh, disgusting. And then the boys like just wondering like what the hell's going on here. And then it's almost like the mother's pretending like they're part of the family. That would be so creepy, bro. Like imagine you know you're not in a dream, right? But the mother's just pretending everything is normal, like the clothes, like the animals just wearing clothes and they're eating like normal people. And yeah, like everything for the mother seems fine, but you can tell this is not a dream. Or at least it doesn't feel like one. So now you're just filled with absolute terror. Okay, back to the story. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where audio always hides. Tony. Oh, this is mom now. Mom, Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. Oh, thank God. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Anton, hello. The senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded. Mom, a boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. I can't say I'm familiar with that picture. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a stuffed cat in his hands and wore a white smile. You know, I kinda wish they would like make longer stories, right? Where, I don't know, we go through like maybe the boy or whatever's experience, right? And then the story progresses, right? And you think they forgot about story elements like that, right? Like maybe like they go through like a history thing or something, and they just bring up this photo and then like, it makes sense. We saw him, right? And yeah, we saw him. The boy saw him as well, right? So there's no confusion as to whether we saw him or not, because we're trying to immerse the the player in the experience, right? We're not trying to like create this divide. Anyway, continuing on. No, I haven't. Policeman, are you sure? Look closely. Anton, where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window, the policeman says. That's right, Mom says. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Anton, no, I haven't seen anything. Policeman, see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stair and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. Policeman, how do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Mom, bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Policeman, misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Mom, yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his grey eyes. My head started spinning. Anton, can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Policeman, Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age. He has the same type of goggles. Haha, always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I feel uncomfortable, as if a distant relative, not a police officer, stood in front of me. Policeman, you know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Stay away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, policeman said. Well then, what grade are you in, Tony boy? Anton, 6. Policeman, have you made any friends here so far? Anton, not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Policeman, ah, and I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along. The policemen were gone along with their shadows. The smell of cheap cologne and a photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and tap and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do? Forget about me eventually. Anton, Mom, this Bova. Did he go missing in our forest? Mom, seems like it. Poor child. I looked out of the window at the road. Police UAC drove off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. Remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people,